LeBron James, since that Mickey Mouse championship that you spoke of, it was a pandemic.
Stop the Mickey
Okay,
Mouse.
well, it was a pandemic. I know you say it's a chip, but it's a pandemic championship in the bubble when most teams didn't want to be there after a while. So he won it by default. So I give you that. It does count.
Come on, Skip. You can't say he won it by default. They still had to put in the work. They still had to be locked in among all the chaos. But we understand where you're going with this. The season was unusual. We're talking about players having almost 4 months off, then the season starting back up again. The 82-game season is part of that grind. You have to survive and then get through the playoffs on top of that.
You get the big trophy and all that, but
I'll say something about it in a
it's
second.
an asterisk. Go ahead. Just say.
You know what I want to say?
Okay.
I want to say, because this is very important, I don't think people brought this up. I don't delegitimize the championship. Chip is the chip. You won it. And I give them a lot of credit because to be in that damn bubble and to want to stay, to want to win it, I mean, those were some tough times. That's a once-in-a-century situation.
Okay, but you're the last team standing.
I feel you on that, but
okay,
what I'm saying is you deserve a lot of credit for being competitive and wanting to do it under those conditions.
Yeah.
Number one, here's the only argument that I believe people can make against the Lakers and the legitimacy of the chip. And nobody has brought this up that I've heard. You can't, it's impossible for you to assume that Anthony Davis would have been available for you if they had to play an 82-game season.
Hey, Stephen A. Smith right here is cooking. Damn, he had to get back with Skip to be on that grind. But he's on point right here. Those 4 months off really benefited guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron. And when it comes to AD, had he remained fully healthy in the finals and not had that stumble in between, I believe, games 2 and 3, he was really the first in line after the first 2 games to be rewarded the MVP of the finals. His defense was not only immaculate in those first 2 games, but he also made the clutch play, I believe, at the end of game 1 or 2. One of you fellas can either leave the comments below or just correct me on that, but it's either games 1 and 2. For Laker fans, this was the version of AD they thought they were getting going forward and eventually would take the keys from LeBron of the franchise, but that never happened. Once again, in that 2020 bubble, that was the best version of AD that Laker fans got.
If the season had never been halted and there wasn't a 4-month hiatus, and you had to go through the season nonstop, Anthony Davis, the belief was Anthony Davis wouldn't have been available for you.
Well,
so that is legitimate.
LeBron at an advanced age got 4 months off before the bubble.
Yeah,
right?
but what I'm saying is LeBron has earned the trust of basketball lovers everywhere to be able to say what we saw in the finals, what we saw in the playoffs in the bubble, we would have seen from him in the playoffs in April, May, and June.
Facts. Stephen A. cooking right here. But we never seen the same type of consistency from AD completing an 82-game season and then going through the playoffs healthy. Even with the 4 months off, AD was still banged up in that bubble, especially in the finals going up against the Miami Heat. That's the main reason why by the time the middle of that series kept going on, LeBron James was the front runner for MVP. Once again, you fellas could go back and look at the tape. AD after the first 2 games was the player with the bigger impact.
Anthony Davis hadn't, because we had not seen him be available.
Right.
And there were questions. I mean, no, we weren't as extreme as Charles Barkley. You understand, who called them street clothes. But there's a lot of people that were feeling you would have seen them in street clothes. So because that period gave you the reprieve necessary in order for him to be available, you could make an argument that wouldn't have happened if the season hadn't been interrupted.
Also within that bubble, sometimes that kind of puts that asterisk on it, was when players would test positive and would have to be quarantined for a couple of days, and then they missed games. So there was just way too many outside factors that could actually affect what goes on in the court.
That's it.
Here's what the Laker brass knows that no one ever talks about. Since that Mickey Mouse championship, LeBron James and company, 12 and 20 in postseason games.
Shit, that's kind of crazy. Another monkey wrench I'll throw in there. Ever since Jeannie Buss and her siblings took over that Laker franchise when their father passed away, they ranked 26th when it comes to just overall wins.
For him individually, that's the worst winning percentage of any active player in the postseason, 12-20. And over the last 3 years, LeBron and company, 2-12 in the postseason. And listen, this man has been a disappearing act in the fourth quarters of the last 3 years of playoff runs, 2 of them very quick and short. But even if we go back to the Denver, they got to the conference championship, they got swept by Denver, and Denver's on its way to winning it all. But in those 4 fourth quarters, LeBron shot 7 of 23 and 1 of 10 from 3. And during that series, he set an NBA record for missed consecutive fourth quarter threes of 20 in a row. He missed 20 straight threes in the fourth quarters of those Denver games. And I know for a fact the Laker brass was not happy with that performance. That's when Austin Reeves almost saved it for him, because he's the one you can trust.
Damn, Skip is up LeBron's ass right here. Boy, this is why Skip's presence is definitely needed in the space. He just went Stone Cold Steve Austin on fucking LeBron. And this side over here, and this side over here, and let me tell you about your boy LeBron James.
Well, I recently saw this stat where 3-pointers made or missed with like less than 5 seconds left in regulation or overtime. LeBron was like 0 for 17. So it's like, but we're not judging LeBron on 3-point shots like he's Steph Curry or Klay Thompson.
Right.
So we got to remember that.
Okay.
Now, his supporters will say LeBron is still averaging 25, 8, and 8 throughout those years. And that stat that Stephen A. Smith just pointed out shows that he really lost his step. He's settling a lot. He's shooting a bunch of threes. And even though the numbers somewhat still look the same, the results in the win-loss columns is a lot different.
Got it.
Secondly, let's analyze. If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, one of those playoff losses were the Phoenix Suns when Chris Paul and them were there.
That was the first one.
That was the first one.
Okay.
And that series right there was the end of LeBron James's prime. The way Devin Booker just sliced him up like that, LeBron's energy levels could do nothing near that. So for the Laker fans, that series should have signified that LeBron James could still put up his numbers, but there is a ceiling right now at his age.
They missed the playoffs thereafter.
That was in 6 games.
They missed the playoffs thereafter.
Yep.
Then after that, Darvin Ham's your coach.
Yep.
You get to the conference.
They
finals.
did. And they
It
got
was
swept.
Jokic, but it was Jokic.
It
he
was.
ran against, okay.
Yeah.
And then when they lost in the first round of next year, it was Jokic.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like who you lost
Which
to
you went down
matters.
in 5, but
who,
go ahead.
Who you
Yep.
lost to matters.
All right.
You lose last year.
Okay.
Ant-Man.
Not only he lost to Ant-Man, but he lost to a Diet Coke version of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not only they traded their star Karl Anthony Towns, who was considered one of the best stretch fives in the league, while at the same time them having one of the best defensive centers in the league, but those players were getting accustomed to their system, and yet Anthony Edwards as well as Julius Randle were able to make light work of the Lakers. I'm gonna repeat that again. Julius Randle as well as Anthony Edwards were able to make light work of the Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers were so pathetic defensively. Rudy Gobert looked like the second coming of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He did?
I mean, think about that. I mean, I'm just saying, like there are, like, to know basketball, which I know you know, where Skip and I would argue is that.
Okay, let's see if you know what I'm leaving out, because I'm going to spit 3 facts out of 7 to you right now.
Cool.
They got swept at home in the conference finals. In the closeout game at Staples,
Yeah.
LeBron James had 2 chances to tie the game with the clock ticking down to 0, and neither shot touched the rim. Neither
This is
shot
last year against Minnesota?
What's
You're saying
that?
this is last year against Minnesota?
No, it was against Denver when they got swept.
Got you.
That's the first time.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Then the next year, they have to play at Denver in games 1 and 2. In the fourth quarter of the first game, he pouts the whole fourth quarter and won't shoot because he thought he took too much criticism over his failure, his epic failure against Denver the year before.
You know, that's one knock about LeBron. He's too self-aware of what the media is going to say, so he tries to, while in the game, avoid that situation. Look at the 2017 finals, him guarding Kevin Durant versus the 2018 NBA finals, him letting J.R. Smith guard Kevin Durant because he had hit that shot the year before. Also, him understanding that he would not win the finals in 2018, just stat padding himself, and all his media plants were saying, oh, he should have won MVP anyway because of his efficiency. These guys are so self-aware of their numbers, unlike any other players in NBA history.
Game 2 at Denver, he's got a wide open three-pointer. He did the little Jordan push-off move on Brian Russell. On Jamal, just pushed him out of the way and went up with a wide open three to win the game. It was 16 seconds left, but it would have given him a 3-point lead, and he LeBricked it. The man was born without a clutch gene. Then last year against the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's 1-1 going to game 3, 1-1. Go look. I won't bore you with all the details in games 3, 4, and 5. Go look what happened to him and Luka. Luka was just as bad, but it was criminal how LeBron disappeared in the 3 straight fourth quarters, and they lost in 5 games.
So listen, once again, he's not wrong. Everything he just said was totally true.
Kaboom.
But didn't we see LeBron James show up in the game 7 against your San Antonio Spurs when he dropped 37 and 15? I think so. Is it just
we were
about
shot in the heart by Ray Allen.
But in game 6,
it was the greatest clutch shot I've ever seen.
7. There was still a game 7.
I know, but they couldn't even show up. They couldn't even get up off the
Well,
mat.
you shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have put the tape around the arena and try and get the champagne and the San Antonio
fans are
Spurs locker
fleeing
room.
into the
You did
night,
it
the
too.
Heat fans.
You did it too. All of y'all was feeling yourselves, and you forgot that Ray Allen was still his teammate, and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh was. Notice how you didn't bring up how Popovich benched Tim Duncan,
He did.
which
You
enabled
right.
Bosh to get the offensive rebound and kick it out to Ray Allen. Why did Greg Popovich do that? You didn't mention that, but I ain't gonna go there. The point that I'm trying to make to you is there's always issues to bring up. I'm saying to you, when you say LeBron doesn't have the clutch gene, this is not a James Harden kind of inexplicable stuff that we're looking at where you shooting 25 a game and then a game 7 arrives and you don't want to shoot the ball.
Yeah,
That
LeBron's
makes no
more
sense.
late game.
LeBron is not a shooter. LeBron is a scorer, but he's not a shooter.
I know, but he's the greatest scorer in the history of the league, and he's a lousy shooter.
It's 2 things. He's not the greatest scorer in the history of the league. There's several scorers that have been more prolific.
But I mean, to your point, it's on longevity, right?
The longevity.
Yeah, that's right.
The longevity, not efficiency.
Oh.
So let's understand something. LeBron James is going to be hesitant with his J, most importantly with free throws.
Oh,
that's really what gets
Lord
him in
have
trouble.
mercy.
He is not a confident person at the free throw line.
Right.
He is going to be career 73, 74%
Yep,
free
that's
throw
correct.
shooter. He is not going to be that guy. We get that part. But there are other things, like when he blocked Andre Iguodala's shot. It ain't always about scoring. It's about plays. Where his confidence dissipates is when you force him to shoot a perimeter shot or send him to the free throw line in money time. That's not his strength. That's not his strength. We all know that.
But there is a lot of kudos we should give to LeBron James, because I would say in his return to Cleveland post 2017, he has definitely evolved his game with the jump shooting, the efficiency, the 3-point shooting is much improved. He was nowhere near that in his earlier years. That right there is truly part of his greatness, because his peers, guys like Carmelo Anthony, could not adapt as the league was evolving in the mid-2010s. To still even be an impactful player today, it says a lot about his overall basketball evolution.
Well, I ain't going all that, but that's him. He's not a shooter. That's what, like, again, I don't judge him like that.
Okay.
So, again, there have been times when he hasn't shown up, but there's been times when he has.
Okay, but the Iggy block, it's the all-time greatest block in the history of blocks. It's a blindside chase down block, and it's a hustle block. I give you that. He didn't give up on the play.
Right.
But remember, J.R. Smith undercuts Iggy, who's about to dunk it,
Right.
and he had to take another dribble, and then
So you're just going to ignore the fact that LeBron was damn near at the top of the backboard.
Okay,
and blocked
but-
the shot. I mean, you're just going to ignore that.
I know
Everybody
he can
can't
do
do
that. I know he can get a running start,
everybody can't
full
do that.
court, like he's run full court as fast as he can run. 6'9", 260, and he launches from the free throw line. Yeah, he could probably touch the top of the backboard. But the point was, it's an ambush block. It's like Iggy had to redo his dribble, and then he's just going to lay it off the glass, and he got it.
Yo, Skip is Skip is hating right here. I'm not gonna lie. That was still a great play by LeBron James at the end of the day. And just watching the game on television, I don't know if it's just a camera angle, but the way they shot it, the audience could not even anticipate seeing him run up and just block that shot. That's why it's remembered a certain way. It's almost like NFL games. You would think that they would kind of film it in the same way when you're playing a 2K game from that overhead broadcast view, but they film it from a sideline angle because in a way you don't see who's open. There's like an anticipation when a quarterback throws the ball and you're just like, oh wow, somebody was there. There's a method to the madness, sort of like an art in just presenting some of these games, and just the way they shot the finals, that block by LeBron, maybe in person live, the fans saw and anticipated him just blocking Andre Iguodala, but the fans watching at home, that shit was beautiful because to us, that block came out of nowhere.
There's only one Skip, baby.
But is that a great block?
The things, I mean,
Okay,
you're
but
the
wait a
only
second,
person
wait
on
a
the planet that's complaining about the block.
Okay, but is it a man-sized block? Is it a face-to-face where I just made you eat the basketball? No. It's
But it
chase
is
down.
something that most humans can't pull off because they can't get up that damn high.
Okay, I got that, but
You understand? And they don't have the hustle in them to get down there and make that kind of terrific
okay,
play.
so it's a hustle block. I give you that.
Well, give it. Doesn't it matter?
But
doesn't hustle matter as opposed to somebody being like, have you not seen enough lackadaisical individuals that shortchange you with effort, even in big moments, to appreciate the moment? Listen, man, I ain't want to defend no damn LeBron James, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
The brother does. I mean, listen, he's going to go down in the Mount Rushmore of basketball, man. I mean, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. You cannot say definitively that when it comes to all around, I'm not talking about clutch gene because Skip knows I've said this. I would pick Larry Bird in the last 2 minutes of a game before I picked LeBron James.
Yep.
In the last 2 minutes. But I picked LeBron for the first 46.
Hey, that's pretty fair right there. I'm not mad at that take.
You see what I'm saying? Because he's a man-child. All I'm trying to say to you is that all-around game, offense, defense, everything that comes with what it takes to win at the NBA level, LeBron James is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball.
But for 48,
top four.
all 48 minutes, I'm taking Michael Jordan over anybody, including LeBron. LeBron.
So am I. So am I. I mean, listen, that everybody knows how I feel about Michael Jordan. Ain't no disputing that. There's nothing to talk about. 10-time scoring champion, 9-time All-NBA first team, All-Defense. You're the 5-time league MVP. I mean, my God. 6 finals MVPs, unblemished in MVP. Never even allowed the finals to go to a 7th game. Ever.
Greatest clutch performance ever.
And clutch performance, I hope it, no question.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is clearly the GOAT. But LeBron James is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball.
And you can't be mad at that. One blemish I would say about LeBron James and his team at Clutch Sports, also at Nike, is just falling into the trap of just trying to jump over anyone or just measuring up his career versus MJ. LeBron is not only the first of his own kind, any other player behind him trying to just imitate his career, that in itself is already a crazy mountain to climb. He's also done this in an age where there's 24-hour media cycle, the shit never gets turned off. There's plenty of examples of Michael Jordan not necessarily liking the media side of the game, and when things got way too sticky, he would walk away. LeBron, on the other hand, he actually embraces the chaos and uses it as fuel. That's really what the media as well as the fans love. When their favorite stars go through a rough patch or just get criticized or just something crazy happens in their life, and then they get judged off of how they react, how they pull through and just become triumphant anyway. They did it to Michael Jordan after his father died. You look at any famous celebrity, Mike Tyson, any singer going through controversy and just coming out with a crazy album or just persevering through all the adversity. That is part of the GOATness, but it is what it is. It's great to see Skip and Stephen A. Smith reunited, and it feels so good. They definitely should do something together. It's needed in the space.